Tell you in this video how I made $20,000 virtually wholesaling a house and the seller was in jail. Wow, look at that one for a crazy deal. So if you're not familiar with me, my name is Greg Helbeck. I own Velocity House Buyers and we do business in New York, Washington, and Delaware. And the point of these videos and podcasts I put out are to share with you the lessons learned from so far 350 real estate deals throughout my career, over a decade worth of experience, so you can benefit from them, right? So just know this is not regurgitated theory out of a book. This is real world practical information from someone who's done this business for a long time. So let's get into the deal. So this lead came in from direct mail. So we had a postcard campaign that went out and we got an old call. And usually in direct mail, those are the best calls when they held onto your postcard for a while. And someone called up and said, hey, my family member's in jail. They want to sell their property. This was in the state of Delaware. And, they want to get rid of it for cash. So we ended up negotiating with the person who was talking to the owner who was in jail. So we made them an offer. They originally declined it. They ended up following up with us, or we followed up with them. And the owner in jail ultimately said, you know what? I just want to get rid of this property. It's not worth messing with. Basically have a vacant house. There were squatters inside there before. And it's just a liability at this point. It's not producing rental income. They're not living there. So might as well sell it for cash. So we end up making a deal with the owner through the middle person who's a family member. And we had to get the owner to actually sign it in jail. So what we ended up doing was there's a mobile notary in jail. Contract got signed. I reached out to some buyers. I got someone to pay me 20 grand more than what I was paying the seller, AKA an assignment of contract wholesale deal, typical situation. Got the buyer lined up. Didn't have much issues with the closing, to be honest with you. It was pretty easy. Went to closing. I never went to the house. I never spoke to the person. Brett did the whole deal with me. I spent about maybe 20 minutes finding a buyer. So, I mean, in terms of return on time, it was incredible. And the deal got closed. We made 20 grand and a do-si-do, and there we go, as they say. So what are some lessons you can learn? First of all, doing direct mail, you got to mail the right list. So I believe this lead came from the tax delinquent list, if I'm not mistaken. It was either the tax delinquent list or it was the probate list. It was one of those two, or pre-probate, same thing. So we mail the right people, right? When you mail people who inherit properties or haven't paid their property taxes or have some sort of underlying problem that is available via the public record, generally you're going to get the good leads that way because they're calling you with a problem. This case, it was vacant. I'm pretty sure they owed taxes and the owner was in prison. So you might as well sell it because it's just sitting there. So that's thing number one, mail the right people. Lesson number two is the best deals with direct mail always come from the older calls, right? Like when you mail initially, you get a lot of hate calls, you get some tire kickers, you get a couple good leads here and there. But the best direct mail leads come when they've had your postcard for a while and they call like months down the road. They're like, hey, I've had your card for 4 months and I've been hanging on to it and I got to sell this house now. And those are the best, juiciest deals is when they hold on to that direct mail postcard or letter. And that's why you got to mail consistently because, people, they get multiple postcards. And if you keep mailing them, not only do they recognize you, but then they see that you're like a persistent person and you actually follow up. So when they do need to sell, they call you, you do the deal with them. So that's always awesome. That's lesson number two is you got to understand the best leads and direct mail come from the older calls when they've held on to your mail piece for a while. And then lesson number three, you got to operate in markets that you understand, right? And I think I've made this lesson before, but I got to make it again. I'm so good at getting buyers in Delaware. I'm so good at getting buyers in New York. I'm so good at getting buyers in Washington. I know those three areas extremely well. I lived in Washington. I grew up in New York. And Brett lives in Delaware. And when we get an opportunity in those markets, we know what the values are. We know what buyers will pay for the properties. We understand who to use for the closing. Like we have all of our systems in place. So, really master your market and become an expert in your, whatever location you're in. We happen to be in three areas for those specific reasons. But if you're new, pick one area and become a master of it. And it doesn't have to be your own backyard. It could be another market. If you live in Seattle or the Bay Area or New York City and you don't want to invest in those expensive areas, you go to the Midwest, go to the South, whatever, but just pick one area and become a master at it. That's how you get good. And that's how you're able to sell your wholesale deals quick, or that's how you can sell your flips quick with the right team. But if you're all over the place, if you're doing deals in like 7 different states, it's just a pain in the ass from an operation standpoint. So that is the property in Wilmington, Delaware that I bought from a homeowner in jail. So hopefully you got value from that. If you're in Delaware or if you're in Seattle or if you're in the Hudson Valley and you got a house you want to wholesale with me as a JV or just wholesale to me, I'll buy it if the numbers make sense. Send me an email, greg@velocityhousebuyers.com, or you can send me a DM on Instagram @grego37. I hope you got value from this episode and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.